up, Cashflow Clashers? Nasty Nate back again. Just wanted to make a quick video. I've been wanting to make this video for a little while. It's just kind of my ideas about how they could do a little bit of improvements to the rolling system. Because as you know, it's getting harder and harder to get those heroes that you really want. So these are just my personal ideas. So basically, I think that they should remove the shard heroes from the rolls, from the gem rolling, because they're just getting in the way. You know, they're so easy to get. You can just buy them with shards anyway, and they're adding more and more heroes all the time. They keep adding heroes, and every time they do, it's harder and harder to get that hero. You know, especially if you have a lot of the heroes. So why not just take those heroes out? Because honestly, you probably don't really need them, and if you do, you can just buy them with shards. Now, that being said, most of those heroes just really aren't useful. You know, your paladins. Let's look at the older heroes. Are pretty much getting replaced, right? I mean, all right. So these are basically shard heroes right here. You got your paladin, ninjas, succubus, champion, druid, thunder god, who is useful still, but you know what I'm saying? A lot of them are just becoming outdated. So why not just make them shard only? Why not update their stats so that maybe they're not as good as like the Skull Knights and the Dread Drakes, but they're a little bit more useful, especially for those people that don't have the option of spending a whole bunch of gems and rolling some of the new heroes. They can still work towards these other heroes that they can buy with shards, and maybe they could adjust the you know, the prices for these heroes that it takes, because they do seem a little kind of wacky to me, a little pointless. I mean, who's going to spend 20,000 shards for that siren? You know, so maybe they could rework it. Just the shard heroes, make them shard only. Update their stats a little bit to be more in line with some of the newer heroes that are coming out again. Not as powerful, but you know, just so that they would be useful for you know, free-to-play players. Yeah, and so the two things I think that does is for free-to-play players, it evens things out a little bit. It gives them some more options that they don't have to sink their gems into. You know, other ways to buy heroes. For people who are paying for gems, or even this even goes for free-to-play people who have saved up a whole bunch of gems. Just when you're rolling for heroes, it's not gonna feel like such a drag, because you can go 10,000 gems and get like some paladins and champion, you know, and it is just not a good feeling. So it would kind of take that out of it. Maybe they would have to balance out your likelihood of getting a legendary hero. I don't know, something in there, but you know, I think it would be a lot more satisfying, you know, a lot less disappointing. Put some optimism back into the rolling system. So there's also another thing that I wanted to talk about, and that is the green and blue heroes, the ordinary and elite heroes. Like, what is their point, really? I mean, they're in the game. I guess you got the Frost Witch and the Ice Demon. That's cool, but couldn't we do something else with that? And then along the same lines, troops. You know, they don't really have much of a use besides like baiting out traps, sucking up damage when they're on your base. But you know, they don't have as much of a point as you think they would. There's such a so much work put into the game for them to be there. You know, you can upgrade them. There's the army camps. There's all these different kinds of troops. There's all these different elite and ordinary heroes that just don't get used at all. The only thing you use them for is garrisons, really. again, besides Frost Witch and Ice Demon, who have a useful skill, but otherwise they're somewhat pointless. And I had an idea that maybe they could be more useful, and maybe they could do this in a way that's sort of working together with these heroes that aren't used and these troops that aren't used. So why not be able to evolve green heroes and evolve blue heroes, and when you evolve them, they gain a new skill, which is an aura that would affect the troops. So now these heroes are a little bit stronger, and they can make the troops a little bit stronger, and they can do all kinds of things. Some ideas: bonus resources looted. Maybe the troops take reduced damage when they're in the aura, or it could increase attack speed or movement speed. Increase any sort of stat. It could be a healing aura, or maybe something as creative as while they're in the area of that hero, they can jump over walls. Some cool stuff like that. Just to try to give some sort of purpose to troops, make them a little bit more useful, make them a little bit more stronger, so that they actually matter when you're doing your attacks in whatever game mode. And it could be used somehow defensively too. Like, imagine if your hero is buffing your troops, so you put that the hero base surrounded by army camps, and all those troops are getting buffed by that hero, and it would kind of have to be balanced out to where, so the benefit of that hero's aura with the troops can sort of make up for not having that 6th legendary hero or 5th legendary hero. It would have to be worth it taking in that little army with their little blue or green leader and the buff they're getting. It would have to be worth it to not be bringing in a legendary. So that's just some I've been thinking about lately, because I think that would make it so much better for everybody, really, and the whole hero and troop thing would just even make it a little bit more free to play friendly, because that's something everybody has access to. You're not gonna have any trouble getting a hill giant or an engineer. It's easy to get. Nobody's gonna have a problem with that, free to play or otherwise. And I feel like the game is getting too pay to play dependent. It needs a little bit more free to play, and I think part of that is that the free to play stuff, like these heroes, they're useless pretty much. I mean, for the most part, not completely, but you know what I'm saying. And also the troops too, and all that stuff is free to play. Everybody has access to it. So if we could have some improvements there, might make things a little bit more interesting and a little bit more satisfying for everybody, really. Yep. That's just my little rant there about the rolling system and the sort of outdated heroes and troops. And maybe one day they'll be useful, and I look forward to seeing how IGG will do that, if they do it. And I mean, if you guys have any ideas, put them down there in the comments. If you think any of these ideas are good or bad, let me know. Have a little discussion about it, because I think it's something that's on a lot of people's minds. Alright, Clashers, Nasty Nate out. Bye.